Okay, so I did what I often do because I find myself occasionally unoriginal when I'm trying to think of questions, and I went to the internet and I was like, hey guys, I want to meet with DC Collectibles.
Oh yeah, get them. Get them all in.
So I have a list, but I do want to say it first. DC Icons has legitimately revolutionized my website.
That makes me so happy. Icons, DC Icons revolutionized his website. Use that quote somewhere. Write that down. Write that down.
We were born a Marvel site, and we're.
Oh, we knocked Marvel out of being in a special place.
And DC Icons, we changed the tagline just for you guys. We're very, very big fans. So you've stolen our hearts.
Just for that too. Some of this coming. This is actually a pre-production version, but this is the motorcycle for Batgirl, so you can kind of see the movement we're going to get. And it just goes along with a lot of what we're trying to do with storytelling.
You notice it, I mean, obviously with all the accessories that are included.
I'm really trying to tell the story, so even if it's just like putting the cape with the face, that you get the storytelling even if you're not going to play with the figures. We still need you to take these out of the package, you know what I mean? There's such an important line of like, you've got to see what's going on with these. So it's full kind of piece. This is the color it will be, the kind of way that the finishes will be. We have the nice shine to the purple. So really nice piece here that works fine, obviously, as a motorcycle. Let me tell you, though, first about the stuff we announced.
Well, do you have some questions you want to
Go ahead.
Oh, you want to do let me do that first, though, because it's too important. We announced things. It's major.
I want to hear the announcement.
Okay, so one of the things we actually did bring, and so out in the case out there is our new Batman Black and White Nightwing. It's the first time we've done a Nightwing. It's amazing. We were like, which Nightwing should we do? There's so many great interpretations of Nightwing, but we really love Jim Lee's version of him in Hush. And so we went to Jim, and we have great access to Jim, and so it was really wonderful to work with him on that piece. We get the spinning Eskrima stick to it as a nice little effect, and it's just great to have that as our first one. So that'll be in 2017, about mid-year. We also then talked about what we're doing for Wonder Woman movie, which is awesome. So 3 statues, different price points, so depending on what kind of fan of Wonder Woman you are, you can like keep going up and up and up. So we start with a training outfit version of Wonder Woman. So it's a single statue at $150. It's a 12-inch scale, so it's big like the Suicide Squad statues with all that kind of crazy detail. She's in her thermoscaran outfit. Really nice piece. Then you move to the next level, and then you have Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. She's in her Wonder Woman armor, and he's like, ready there for battle, and they're there together on one statue. Then you go to the Super Deluxe, and it's Wonder Woman on her horse. And so, if you ever saw our Dark Knight Returns called Arms Batman on the horse statue, it's like maybe a new line we'll start doing is people on horses. But this one's even bigger a little bit because she's a 12-inch size figure on this horse. And it's massive and just great and just majestic all together. So
who else belongs on a horse? Superman. He should be there.
I was going to say, we just have, that's obviously the next one to do. We got to get through the trinity of them all. So if it's as successful as the Batman on a horse, I think you might see that. You'll see. That's all coming out about May of next year. So right before the movie, you're going to be able to start purchasing those statues, which will be awesome. So everything in this case, just so you know, is things that are either out in stores now or will be coming out by the end of 2016. So stuff all the way up into December. So the various degrees of finished product in here, but for the most part, it's all at least the pre-production samples. And we have everything from movie stuff, video game stuff, comic-based, animated series, all of it all in there. But I want to make sure we have time for your questions, so why don't you hit me up with questions, and we'll pick and choose stuff from there.
So before I get to the sheet, Darkseid isn't in there. He's
not.
Still coming?
He's still coming.
Okay.
He's a little tall and big, but we did get in a working version of him, which what I love about him is based on our new 52 Darkseid, which is a little taller because those figures were a little bit bigger in scale, and that one was very heavy, and he was all about size and like, look, for $100 you get this crazy figure. The Darkseid we're doing now, which is fascinating, is he articulates more, and he's lighter in the chest, so you can actually pose him without worrying about him knocking down like everything in your collection. So he's a very usable figure at a large size, which is really fun.
And he's still packed in with
Grail is in there, and what I love is she has her little cloak. You pop off her head, she can fit her little kind of cloak thing on there as well, so you get both looks, her without the cloak, her with the cloak. She has the giant axe, which is so big it's almost like she can't hold it, but it's like awesome.
I have chills about these ones.
It's
It's
going to be so good. Like, I was playing with Darkseid nonstop in the office the other day. It was just like, you know, because he's ratcheted a little bit so that he moves it a little bit. Yeah, it was really great.
So you kind of addressed one of the questions. It does sound like that new 52 set that you're coming out with for Icons is it Rebirth now?
Yes.
I'm a little lost on that.
Yeah, let me show you what happened. Let me see if I can remember what happened. So we were originally going to be doing a 7-pack, similar to what we did with the new 52, but in the Icon scale. So they were going to be the new 52 costumes of the 7 Justice League members in that smaller, you know, more articulated scale. And then as we were working on the Rebirth stuff and publishing, we were looking for ways to kind of celebrate Rebirth, and we wanted to get to it quicker. And we had a meeting, and we're like, you know, if we just delay this a little bit, we can change these costumes to be the current versions, and that way we can celebrate it as a nice little gift pack. And that would be the ongoing pack because that's the current looks. It doesn't mean we won't ever do those other figures, especially as solo versions of those characters, because those costumes are also great, and they're all the main characters, so it's really great to kind of revisit them again and again, especially as we've been improving our articulation in the Icons line, and they're getting better and better. It is fun to go back to the main characters. So they're sculpted and they're done, but we also have now the new Rebirth ones, and so the pack that you will get is a 7-pack of the Rebirth costumes in March 2017.
Fantastic.
The new 52 ones may come out as singles at some point, but no promises.
And is the Batman in that pack? I'm sure it's a common question, a little taller.
You'll have to see. We actually have this great new articulation that you see in the Firestorm and the John Stewart and the Joker, where the legs come down a little bit and go up and in.
I saw that.
It's a really funky thing, and what it does is you can stand them, and they can close up the gap, so you don't have the same gap you had with Superman, maybe.
Right, and that was another question that I had.
You can pull it down, and then still get the same movement you get with the Superman leg.
And folks were actually asking if there would be a re-release of Superman with that new articulation at any point in the future.
You're going to be able to get in the 7-pack. Not that I'm just really trying to sell the 7-pack, but it is awesome. It's only $100. It's like we're like marking that price down to make sure people can start their collection with this great grouping. And it's an awesome place to get a Superman and a Batman that have this new articulation. It's not the same costume yet, but it's that character with the new articulation.
Now, another big question about the line is, look it up. Any
it's interesting. Okay, I'll tell you this. We're always working to kind of get the maximum look up as we can. Part of it is also to get the ab going a little bit so you can get the effect without getting it all here, because you have to core out the back of the head to truly get it. And we would actually, funny enough, I wish we should have videotaped this. We were in our one war room area and just playing with a bunch of samples, coring out how far we could go with the heads to kind of get more of it. The best cores out most of the back of the head, and it looks really odd. And so you either have to decide, like, would you do a different kind of material that pushes and bends, but then you can't get it to stay. Like, there's a lot of give and take on that.
Of course.
Right now, we haven't found a solution we love.
All right, well.
Like, if I have to be honest, we haven't found one we love. So they're going to get a little bit of the back, but not as far back as we want, without like losing the back of the heads.
I mean, I'm sure the general consensus is people want like a full, and it makes sense that you can't really do that.
Yeah, and it's like you see, we were actually working with this great factory that works with a lot of import licensees as well, where they get the super articulated people, and they will core out the back of it there because it's more about the body movement than anything else. We're trying to do a good balance of the look of the character, great articulation, that's why we love that joint where it covers it up but also is there.
That's awesome.
And then storytelling. Like, the whole point is when you display them out, like the Batgirl, like with Darkseid, we want you to be able to tell your story with the figures. And if you're looking too much at the articulation, like it's a fine line, because this is the most articulation we probably put into anything other than our Superman and Batman from the premium action figure line. They have crazy articulation, so that's a lot of stuff.
So I'm going to ask my friend's question first. Khalil, you know Khalil?
Oh yes.
Corner. He can't be here today.
Oh, is he not here today?
So
okay.
We're going to share this content. It's going to end up on his site too.
Good, good.
So he wanted me to make sure that I asked you, with respect to the 2-packs, he would like the Disco, Nightwing, and I think it's Star Sapphire.
Starfire. So, funny enough, when we were trying to consider the first Nightwing to do in the Batman Black and White line, on the table was the Disco Collar Nightwing. He did not make it, obviously, in the group, but he was a strong contender. So, not saying that it won't ever happen, but he does get talked around in the office a bit. No, nothing in production currently, so don't get him too excited. But yes, we do talk about it.
As the second couples 2-pack, in addition to the Booster booster and Blue Beetle.
You never know, and if the booster of Blue Beetle does good, maybe you'll see more of those fun 2-packs, because that's what we love about that. The booster of Blue Beetle one, it immediately evokes an emotion of the people who loved and read those characters at a specific moment, which is so much what the Icons line is about. Is like taking these moments that maybe mean something special to you and letting you live that again.
Right.
And so that is definitely a moment.
I love that. So I guess now we'll try to go word for word. All right, so we got scale and articulation. We got Batman scale. Thigh swivels. People are begging
They
for.
still love the thigh swivels. Our team, and I don't push it because I hear it. I hear this thigh swivel thing. But Jim, our creative director, and some of the guys on the team think that the new leg joint, by doing what it does, solves the same purpose in a more human correct way, which allows us to not have one more cut. Because obviously one more cut is one more chance for breakage, but it also, you see the cut. And so how can you disguise this articulation as much as possible? But we definitely hear that people are like, oh, I'm used to that because I can get this pose if I know it does that. We hope you can still get really cool poses with what we have. So we're not looking to add in the thigh swivel still not yet.
I will make that a hard no for everyone to understand.
Doesn't mean we don't hear you, and we don't agree that that's a cool thing to have. In this line right now, it's not what we're doing.
So this next question is actually close to my heart, and an expanded question. The accessory pack with Dr. Fate in it seems to have kind of fallen off the schedule, so to speak.
So we felt like we maybe had too much stuff in one year. There was so much coming out, and we wanted to get the articulation right, so a lot of stuff pushed till later in the year. So we have a ton that's hitting between the beginning of end of 16 and beginning of 17.
So it's gone but not forgotten.
No, definitely not. Nothing is ever forgotten. Believe me, we have a whole wall of the stuff to not forget. But we wanted to basically portion it out better, and we have other things, priorities like the Rebirth 7-pack and things we wanted to get in front of people first. And so with the same factory that we're working with, we're trying to reprioritize. So while the one accessory pack is coming out before the end of the year that has Chip in it, and I think some of the other Green Lantern accessories and some other fun stuff in there, we have not forgotten.
So, and an offshoot to that question, can I have a Dr. Fate?
Which version? Who's your Dr. Fate? Is it
classic.
Ken Nelson kind of version? Okay.
Yeah, the comparative DC Universe Classics kind of original one, which I'm getting rid of now because I'm fully diving in.
Not that I would ever encourage you to throw away any toys, but I'm glad you're using it to get other new toys.
I would not throw it away.
Yes, gift it to someone.
My wallet is not built like that, but it does. Thank you for shifting some stuff out. That's very helpful.
Good.
So for Icons in particular, what's the budget breakdown for a wave of figures? Molding, paint, details, accessories. What's top of the line?
Well, I gotta say, if you want to see an example of like where we're spending a lot of our money, it's definitely in this line. And it's hard for people to understand who aren't in the toy industry because they thought we shrunk them a little. They should be cheaper. And it's like a quarter of an inch or whatever to some degree is like, in that range is all we shrunk the figure from our new 52. And added a ton of articulation and a bunch of accessories that the other figures never came with. And maybe we just need to do a better job packing it out for people to see everything they get. Because a lot of the money that's spent, like you'll be surprised, like an extra head or hands, and it can be the funniest thing. We just had this with something we were trying to cut a little bit to make it something more affordable, and somebody's hands had like extra paint operations on it, and it meant like each nail was painted, and they had something on their wrist, and they had something on the back of their hand, and that meant that going through the factory, because a lot of this stuff is still hand painted, or even if they have a machine, it has to go through the machine numerous times, and every time it has to go through, that's a few more cents. And it sounds silly to say a few more cents, but a few more cents adds up to, a figure that can't be done for the price we're trying to get them in for. So we're trying to base it off of, do we charge a little bit more for these and give the full deluxe experience, or do we get really like kind of, strict about what we can include and what we can't? Or find our moments. Do a nice deluxe Batgirl that has a ton of stuff that the experience feels more deluxe, and then pare down the basic figures a little bit more. That's why we don't put bases in with them, because we hope people can either find their own dioramas or other bases, so we don't have to spend some of the money on that. But then we found it really important to put a base on the motorcycle, because we know that that's a tricky thing to have somebody set up themselves.
Absolutely.
And so it's like we're picking and choosing when we do it, but the prices are seen throughout. Like we basically have the packaging as pared down as we can, so it's all going into the figure, the articulation, and the accessories in a big way.
You've been more than gracious. I won't take any more time.
There we go. Perfect.
I